Hi, good morning. Let us continue the lesson A Truly Beautiful Mind, a biography of Albert Einstein. Come to page number 48, eighth paragraph. In 1900, at the age of 21, Albert Einstein was a university graduate and unemployed. He worked as a teaching assistant, gave private lessons, and finally secured a job in 1902 as a technical expert in the patent office in Bern. Here, the word patent, a document which gives the rights of an invention to an inventor, is called the patent office in Bern. While he was supposed to be assessing others people's inventions, Einstein was actually developing his own ideas in secret. He said to have jokingly called his desk drawer at work the Bureau of Theoretical Physics. Why Albert Einstein called his working desk as a Bureau of Theoretical Physics? Because it's the place there only he started working on his inventions. Next paragraph. One of the famous papers of 1905 was Einstein's special theory of relativity, according to which time and distance are not absolute. Indeed, two perfectly accurate clocks will not continue to show the same time if they come together again after a journey if one of them has been moving very fast relative to the other. From this followed the world's most famous formula, which describes the relationship between mass and energy. E is equal to mc square. See, in the textbook they have given an explanation, mathematical equation. E stands for energy, m for mass, and c for the speed of the light in a vacuum, about 3 lakh kilometers per second. While Einstein was solving the most difficult problems in physics, his private life was unraveling, means started to fall. Albert had wanted to marry Maliva right after finishing his studies, but his mother was against it. She thought Maliva, who was 3 years older than her son, was too old for him. She was also bothered by Maliva's intelligence. She is a book like you, his mother said. Einstein put the wedding off. What he has done, he put the wedding off. Here, Einstein's mother, Pauline, thought that Maliva was very intelligent to be a wife, and she told Einstein that Maliva was also like a book and was similar to him. As his mother was against this marriage, what happened? He cancelled his wedding with Maliva. The pair finally married in January 1903 and had 2 sons. But a few years later, the marriage flattered. Flattered means here became weak. Meanwhile, was losing her intelligence, ambition, and becoming an unhappy housewife. After years of constant fighting, the couple finally divorced in 1919. Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. Here, Maliva was unhappy from this marriage. She could not fulfill her career dreams because she too was intelligent like him. That's why Pauline, his mother, says what she said. She is a book like you. So she could not fulfill her career dreams. So finally, in the year 1919, after prolonged fighting, both of them were separated. And the same year, Einstein married his cousin Elsa the same year. Einstein's new proposal chapter coincided with his rise to world fame. Means here, at the time Einstein married Elsa, another thing coincided. It was Einstein's rise to world fame. Einstein became world famous. Everyone acknowledged him as a great scientist. In 1915, he had published his general theory of relativity, which provided a new interpretation of gravity. Means in the year 1915, what happened? He published one more paper, which was based on general theory of relativity, which gave a new interpretation to gravity, it seems. An eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate, that it was an eclipse of the sun in 1919 brought proof that it was accurate, it seems. Einstein had correctly calculated in advance the extent to which the light from fixed stars would be deflected through the sun's gravitational field. The newspapers proclaimed his work as a science revolution, it seems. Means applauded, praised. Here, deflected, the word we have. So, deflected means change direction because it hit something. Okay. Albert Einstein had calculated in the year 1915 that in the year 1919 there would be a solar eclipse. Due to it, the apparent position of the stars would change to some extent. His calculation was absolutely accurate. So, it was announced that Albert Einstein's work was a scientific revolution. Because of this, he received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921. The Nobel Prize was based on the will of the famous Swedish scientist, a scientist who belongs to Sweden, Alfred Nobel. So this Nobel Prize was based on behalf of him. It was established in 1895, and the first Nobel Prize was given in the year 1901. He was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. He was praised by the press. When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein emigrated to the United States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them had fled from fascism just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. When Germany came under the power of Nazis, means the famous Nazi ruler, who is he? Adolf Hitler. At that time, Einstein left Germany. He immigrated, the word was given, isn't it? In the 14th paragraph, second line. Immigrated means leave one's own country in order to settle permanently in other country. Many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had. Fascism, in the sense, it is a form of far-right, authoritarian, ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, means dictatorship, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society. It is fascism is equal to Nazi kings or Nazi rulers. We can see one of them just now I said Adolf Hitler. And now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. Turn the page and come to 15th paragraph in the 50th page. At the urging of a colleague, Einstein wrote a letter to the American President Franklin D. Roosevelt on 2nd August 1939 in which he warned a single bomb of this type exploded in a port might have well destroyed the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. His words did not fail to have an effect. The Americans developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own and dropped it on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. So from this 15th paragraph here, Albert Einstein was requested by a colleague, and so he wrote a letter to President of America, Franklin D. it seems, on 2nd August 1939, and he warned him that the atomic bomb which was developed by Germany, already by the time Germany has developed the atomic bomb, was very powerful. If one of these bombs exploded on any port, it would not only destroy the area but also it would destroy the surrounding territory. So this shows Einstein's humanitarian quality. So he warned. He wanted good for the people. He wanted peace in the world. That is why he wrote his concern to the President of America and warned him. Then what happened? His words did not fail to have an effect. Albert Einstein's letter had an impact on Franklin D. Roosevelt, it seems. Then the Americans developed the atomic bomb secretly and dropped it on two cities of Japan. What are those? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Germans had just developed the atomic bomb. They did not use it on any country, but America did. So with this act, Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction. Lot of destruction took place, and Einstein was totally shaken by the extent of the destruction. This time he wrote a public missive, means here letter, especially long and official, to the United Nations. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Unlike the letter to Roosevelt, this one made no impact. But over the next decade, Einstein got ever more involved in politics, agitating for an end to the arms buildup and using his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. Einstein wrote an official letter. He wrote an official letter to the United States National Organization and to form a world government. But this letter did not bear any fruit, no use, totally in vain. For another 10 years, Albert Einstein was involved in world peace. He was involved in politics, and his agenda was to stop the countries involved in collecting arms and developing weapons. He campaigned for world peace and democracy. His main agenda was world peace and freedom of people. Einstein could foresee the future. When he died in 1955 at the age of 76, the world celebrated him as a visionary. He was a world citizen and a scientific genius too. Now, let us accept that he is a truly beautiful mind personality. Yeah. Thank you.